Kind of felt like Christmas there for a minute with those readings. And it kind of occurred to me that that's a good starting point for our meditation on the Blessed Virgin Mary as Queen of heaven and earth, because her queenship, of course, stems from Christ's kingship. In the line of David, it was the queen mother, right? The mother of the king, not the wife of the king. The mother of the king was the queen of the kingdom. And because she had the greatest sway over her son. A king's wife really doesn't have anything on him. A king's mother can say, "I changed your diapers. Don't take that tone with me," right? So the relationship that a mom has with a son matures certainly over time, but never really changes. A king can marry a wife. Oftentimes marries a wife for no other reasons than a political alliance. You don't want that person, being your intercessor. You want the one who has some control, some power. Perhaps the only person in the whole kingdom who has any power over the king is his mom. Right? And so the queenship of Mary comes out of the fact that as the king of as the inheritor of the throne of the kingship of David, Jesus is king and Mary, his mother, is queen. Now, this should not be a big issue for anybody. It is for some reason, and honestly, I think it's just because people think they don't believe these things could be true because they're too good. But look, if you can believe that a woman can get pregnant by a Holy Spirit, right? Surely the idea that she's Queen of Heaven shouldn't be that big of a leap for you, right? It's just a tiny brook across the enormous stream of the Holy Spirit overshadowing a virgin who's never known man before, and now all of a sudden comes forth God, right? The inconsistency of people's belief in the scriptures is unbelievable to me. But anyways, here we are. So Mary is queen. That's easily established. What does it mean, though, for her to be queen? What is the queen? The queen is essentially the social welfare of the kingdom, right? She is the one who has compassion. She's the one who looks out and sees the suffering and the poor and the sick and the needy. She's the one that goes to the king and says, "Your people are sick and poor and hungry and needy. Give me your stuff so that I can give it to them." Right? The queen distributes from the king's treasury the goods that the people need to relieve their suffering. And that's what Mary does for us. We call her queen, but there's another title that we use that articulates her function here, and that is mediatrix of all graces. She's the conduit through which the graces of God, the salvific graces of our redemption, come to us. First, in this proclamation of the angel, "Hail, full of grace, the Lord is with you. You are the ark of the covenant." You are, again, the conduit. She's going to be the container that brings into the world that grace that we need. She is the mother of Jesus. Her first act as mediatrix is to receive the word into herself, who is the first touch point of God into the world, to give birth to that gift, that grace, that substance into the world for us. That mediation does not stop at the moment that she's given birth to Jesus. That mediation continues to a wedding at which she says, "Do whatever he tells you. He knows what I want him to do. I don't have to say it. So just do what he's going to tell you to do." Right? Because he's going to do what I want him to do. And what I want him to do is what you want him to do. Right? That mediation continues as Jesus is carrying the cross. And she says, "Don't quit. It continues with Jesus hanging on the cross when he says, "Mother, behold your son. Son, behold your mother." It continues through the early church when John, writing the letters that he writes, his gospel, his revelation, all with Mary for the sake of the church, to continue to give to the church the revelation of her son Jesus. And it continues today. When Mary, having tasted death, as is becoming and befitting one who loved her son so much that she would taste death as he tasted death, but perfect as she is, did not experience corruption, and ascended into heaven, was assumed into heaven, body and soul, is now crowned queen, that she might continue the work that she began in the very beginning when she said, "Behold, I am the handmaid of the Lord. Be it done unto me according to your word, that I might do for those you love what you want done for them, that I might continue to mediate for them the graces you have desired for them, that I may continue for them in the relationship of mother to your son, and therefore queen of your son's kingdom, to give to them what you want them to have." We live in this world very much like those members, those guests at the wedding of Cana, dependent on Mary to appeal to her son to do what he's already going to do by interceding for us. The only thing that we need to receive from her, what she has obtained by her intercession, is to do whatever he tells us to do. And she will secure for us everything that we need. Now, I don't know why it's not the first reading for such a feast, but in the book of Kings, 2 Kings, I think, we have Bathsheba coming to Solomon. Excuse me. Yeah. No, hold on. It's been so long since I've read it because it doesn't come up. No. No, hold on. Yeah, David's dead. Solomon's on the throne. Somebody tried to usurp him. Yeah. So this is just as David's dying. You remember that jackal, one of Solomon's brother from a different mother though, tried to usurp him on the throne, and so with the help of the prophet, and Bathsheba goes to David and says, "Oh, my husband, didn't you say that my son Solomon would sit on the throne after you?" And David's like, "Oh yeah, that scoundrel, he's trying to take the throne. Well, this day he'll be seated on the throne." So David kind of abdicates the throne and gives it to Solomon. And then David very shortly dies. Well, now Solomon's king, and he has to deal with this guy. God, what's his name? This is too many people, too many things, too much history. Anyways, the usurper. So he's scared for his life. He's going to get killed because he tried to usurp the throne from Solomon. And so, what does he do? He doesn't go to Solomon. That would be dumb. He goes to Solomon's mom. He goes to Bathsheba, the queen, and he says, I know I don't deserve anything, but would you intercede for me on my behalf?" And she says, "Okay, fine, I'll go talk to my son for you." Here's where we get to the point, okay? Sorry for that very clumsy lead up. Solomon's in his throne room. The door's open on the other end. Bathsheba's standing there, and she walks in, the queen clothed in splendor. Solomon gets up and bows his head to the floor to her. Remember the relationship of a king and a queen, right? Then he has a chair brought for her. She gets to sit with him. Nobody else gets to sit. Everybody else, doesn't matter how long he stays in that throne room, everybody's got to stand. He has a chair brought to her. She sits at his right because she gets to persuade him. And she says, "Son, I have something to ask you." And he says, these are the important words. "Mother, ask me, for I shall deny you nothing." That's who we have sitting at the right hand of Jesus in heaven as our queen. One to whom we can go with all of our little problems. Hear her say, "Do whatever he tells you to do, but I'll go talk to him. So whatever he comes out and tells you to do, do it, but know that I've gone to talk to him for you." And she goes in. Imagine in the kingdom of heaven, those doors opening and Mary walking in and Jesus getting up and bowing his head to his mom. Letting her sit next to him so that she could ask him the stupid things we want her to ask him for us. And her getting her way. And all she says is, "Do whatever he asks you."